This week in the news, of course, NVIDIA, robots, and Boston Dynamics. Um, I cannot wait to have robots do my laundry and dishes, and I know they are doing that in labs, but they're not in my house yet. Soon they will be. NVIDIA has a new brain for robotics. They just launched their new Jetson Thor. Uh, and it's supposed to be a more advanced brain for robots and allow them to do more decisions on the fly and reason in real time. So there will be a new generation of humanoid robots coming out from Agility Robots and Boston Dynamics very soon. And they're supposed to be able to work in warehouses and factories. Um, and I think one of these might be able to do my dishes and laundry and vacuuming and all of that stuff. I'm not sure how much they're going to be, but that's what I'm waiting for. I do have my Roomba, which is, as close to a robot as I have at home, and I really do love it. Um, Her name is Grace. Um, and we've got some wearable tech advances. And this was from researchers at McGill, and they created a new AI system to predict onset of respiratory infections up to 72 hours before somebody shows physical symptoms. And the symptoms are they're detected by using things like an Aura ring or an Apple Watch, and they detect things like your change in heart rate, body temperature, and breathing. And right now, Aura Ring already does that. I know some of the wearables do. Mine, it will say, to let me know that I have symptoms. It's called Symptom Radar. And the symptoms can be higher heart rate, higher temperature, lower blood oxygen levels. And so then it's a note to just take it a little bit easier that day. Sometimes I get symptom radar when I'm traveling and changing time zones too, because that can affect body systems. But I love this idea for kids too, because kids aren't going to communicate this as much as us adults do. And then MIT has been working on solving manufacturing challenges, and they're bringing together research at MIT with industry and collaborating to help companies adopt AI and automation and boost productivity and resilience to the market. And the idea is to deploy practical and scalable AI solutions and for them, not just showcasing technology, but deploying it within businesses. And we'll, I'm guessing we're going to see these manufacturing robots, and we'll see a lot of other things show up in there with the MIT labs really pushing it more. And then data sovereignty is a big question or big topic of conversation. And data sovereignty is where you own your own information and it's not available to the public, to the government, or anybody else. And so countries outside of the US have had a hard time using ChatGPT because their data was not sovereign, it was living here in the US. And we know what's been happening where private information isn't really private right now. And so this has slowed down the adoption of some of the US tools in other countries. And over in Saudi, there's a company called Humane that's building large scale AI data centers. And the idea is then people can have their data over in Saudi Arabia. So if you're in the Middle East, you're not going to want your data over here. And it can go over there. And then they are also working on their own Arabic conversational AI chatbots. And working in the UAE, they also have their own AI over there. They have Falcon and it's hosted locally. A lot of countries are concerned about this. Canada is, Australia is, all of EU. And so it has slowed the adoption of some products in some US products over internationally because they don't want their data on US servers. And so they are adopting things like DeepSeek and some of the others where you don't need to have your information here in the US. And so having companies like we use Fixer for email, but people outside the US might not use Fixer because of the data sovereignty concerns. And so then if Fixer can have servers outside of the US and we know that our information isn't stored here, then they can get more market as well. They can get more of the market because AI is multilingual natively. But it's more about the data sovereignty concerns. And then Microsoft's head of AI talks about AI psychosis. And there's this phenomenon that Mustafa calls AI psychosis. And it's not a clinical diagnosis, but a term that he uses to describe how people can become so reliant on AI chatbots that they start believing imaginary things are real, like that they have formed a genuine romantic relationship with the AI. And I was listening to a podcast the other day where they talk about this, and Grok has released these feminine AIs. And I don't know if any of you have heard them, but they are subservient, child sounding women. And they're there to serve the man. And I personally think it's disgusting the way that they're doing this. And they're talking like young girls instead of women, and they're doting. And this is from Grok. And so people are having these AI relationships. And there's a big concern because we already have a shrinking population because people are having less children. And there's a bigger concern that this is going to happen even more so when people can have AI chatbots and then also have these synthetic companions and not have to risk real human relationships. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And the stuff that Grok is doing is really, I think it's really gross. We're not going to cover that here. I just wanted to say, like, that is my opinion on it. Um, firmly my opinion on it. And we need to be careful because, I mean, I know I've used it as a therapist enough times, and to write emotionally neutral emails to people, things like that. But AI just wants to please you and agree with you. And so it does not help develop your resilience, get over your fears of rejection. And for young people, this can be really dangerous in that we will have less resilient humans that are going to be out there, and they'll be used to this subservience and used to people saying yes to them. But then they get into the real world and they're not going to know how to deal with conflict, and they're not going to know how to deal with saying no or seeing somebody else's perspective in things. They're just used to getting what they want, having it served up 24/7 from these AI companions. So that's going to be a big challenge, I think. And having young people have access to this is something that I think parents need to pay attention to as well. All right. So watch out for your AI psychosis, reliance on chatbots without questioning what they say. We were just talking about this discernment and the ability to look at something and tell if it's accurate or not. Because if you have never done a marketing strategy before, you ask AI to do a marketing strategy for you, and you're not a marketer, you don't have the discernment to know if it's complete or accurate. And so there's still a need for expertise in different areas. And we need to make sure that we have this discernment, and review everything that AI is putting out there. I was just working on a document and I had given very thorough and clear instructions, and AI took out a lot of information that should have been in there that I included in the original prompt. And so that human, like, you've got to look over everything that AI is producing and not just put it out there without thinking about it. It's an assistant. It is not an independent, it shouldn't be an independent entity for anybody at this point. And this leads us into our next learning opportunities. We have our applied AI class back by popular demand. It's I think it's actually going to be in the morning. I think we need to change the times on this. We're likely doing it 9 to 10 a.m. on Tuesdays. And that will start, when does it start? September 16th. And you're going to get 10 live classes, and you will get 10 invitations to the AI labs like we're doing today, to work on the homework from class, to work on whatever you're doing in your business, and you'll actually get that hands-on help. Today, we're going to go over our newsletters again, and we're going to test different models, doing a newsletter prompt to see which model does it best right now. And there are things like that that we do in AI labs. We also do deep dives into specific tools, or we'll whip out our toolbox and see which one is best to solve a problem that you have. So the AI labs are pretty fun. We do those every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific. And then we've also got AI Your Ops. So AI Your Operations. It's a 4-week class where you get 1 hour, 4 times a week. And then in that, we show you how to bring AI into your operations, how to bring it into your workflows and your SOPs, and what you can really give to AI, and where you want to have human oversight in that process. So the AI Your Ops class is also starting the same week. And I can't wait to get to run the next class and see what everybody's going to build in there. Everybody has different things that they'll do, whether it's an agent, a workflow, and by the end of class, you will have something built to help you make your work life easier. And then tools featuring this week, Leonardo.ai, Marikar's favorite for creating images, and VEO is built into it, so you can do videos as well. You can do branding work in there. It's really cool, all the things you can design in Leonardo. There's a lot you can do that for free, and it's also really inexpensive to play with. And then we've got Heygen for our AI generated avatars, which we also use all the time. And you can even make some fun photos in there too. If you upload a bunch of yourself, you can have it trained on your image, and then it will create all these different photos of you to use. And you can even turn those into videos. So Heygen's a fun one to play with. And it's also really good at changing the language in videos and dubbing, and changing the movement of the mouth to match the new language. It does it quickly, and as far as we're concerned, it does the best job out of any for that translation, and having the facial movements and lips match the new words that it's saying. And then Runway is a text to video generator, and it does videos, and it can do really high quality. It does short videos that sometimes people